Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, we got to talk about this dominant victory over Alabama. And first of all, I just want to say this is the team that I've been waiting for. What's up, Andrew? They put it together on both sides of the court, and this is this is the scary team that we thought that we was going to be getting from the jump. And it took them a while. They still learning how to play defense. They still got a lot of improvement, but this is a little glimpse of what they can become. And I'm not going to lie, I hate when Calipari, when he says things like we're built for March and this and that. But he may be on to something, because I'm starting to get this feeling where like maybe they might turn the corner. And it was really good to see Edwards really finally have his game where he made his mark. Andrew said best win since Kansas. Yeah, that was an impressive, like they were dominant in this game, and that's what I wanted to see them just be dominant the whole entire game, just playing good on both sides of the ball. But if we really look at, the stats, it goes back to what we've been saying all year. When they move the ball, when they get 20 plus assists, they just play really well on offense. And I think they had about 23 tonight. Let me check. I think they had like 23 assists and 10 turnovers. And normally when they do something close to that ballpark of numbers, they usually play good on offense. But what I was impressed with on the defensive end was they had 7 blocks, they had 11 steals, and they forced 16 turnovers. So when we get them playing like that on the defensive side of the ball, man, they could be a scary team. And this is the team that we thought we was getting. This is what the team is going to look like if they put it together. And if they play like this, I feel like we can play with anybody in the country. It's just a matter of them being able to consistently do this, because you're going to have to be able to do this 5-6 games in a row if you want to win this tournament. So hopefully, the consistency just start getting a little better. And this is what we have to look forward to for the rest of the season. Great win. Hope we can learn to play that way against physical teams. Yeah. We got to be able to do this, to play this way, to play this style of basketball, no matter who the opponent is. And obviously we backed ourselves into a corner because we let a whole lot of winnable games slip away from us earlier in the season. Just like when was that, Wednesday we played LSU. That was a winnable game that we let slip away from us. So we have to make sure that we handle business from here on out, because we even if we win out the rest of the season, we're going to probably have a tough tournament that we're going to have to play. And, that's on them, because they put themselves in that position by letting some games slip away that they should have had in the bag. But I just want to see them continue to play this way and close the season out this way, and just make something happen. Like, do something. We gotta spark something to continue to move forward, and we got to get through this SEC tournament into the NCAA tournament, and we got to get out of the first weekend. After I seen them play LSU, I said, I don't know if these guys are going to make it out of the first weekend. I was starting to lose a lot of confidence, to be honest with you, but I'm glad to see them come back and be able to put a game together like this. But I just have to see more consistency. Edwards was amazing tonight. Yeah, man. And earlier in the season, I kept going with Calipari because everybody was like, why does Calipari keep playing this guy? And I kept saying just the potential, because like I had been saying that I think he has the most upside of any of the players, just because he has decent height, he's athletic, he looks like he could become a good defender, could become an okay shooter. So to me, he kind of seemed like the best pro prospect, but he was just playing so bad. And eventually I had to just be like, look, Calipari, you got to sit him. Um, but Calipari just kept on giving him a chance, kept on giving him a chance. And he finally looked like he figured something out tonight. I just hope that this wasn't just like a fluke one-time thing. I hope that he can, can build off of this and I'm not saying that he got it. Let me see what was his final stats. He ended up with 28 points. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta have 28 points every night, but if we can just get a solid 12 to 14 out of you every game. If I know every time Edwards gets on the court, he can give us 14, like, I'll be happy with that. Like, I'll be, I'll just live with whatever results come with that. It was hard. It was frustrating to watch a guy with so much talent and you just see him not giving you anything, just having bad games night after night and playing extended minutes. Now, if you coming off the bench and rarely getting to play, then we ain't really expecting much out of you. But if you playing 15 to 20 plus minutes a game, and even some games 30 minutes, like, we gotta have something from you. And he just showed you a glimpse of what he can do. So fortunately and unfortunately, he's created an expectation, and I hope to see him improve. Like I said, I don't expect you to get 28 every night, but I expect you to at least be able to give us a nice 12 to 14. Like, that's all we need. Like, just, be impactful in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not even necessarily saying you got to score. Look at Reed Sheppard. Reed Sheppard gave us 8 points. And you might look at it and be like, well, that's not really a lot. But he's going to consistently give us the 8 points every single game. But along with the 8 points, he also gave us 6 rebounds and 6 assists. So he may not have filled it up completely offensively with the points, but he still was contributing. He still was making plays for other people. He still was playing hard on defense. So, we just get something similar like that out of Edwards, that would be great for us. Now let's talk about Big Z. Big Z came back alive tonight. And he's another one the same way. His first game, he looked like he was, poised to become the number 1 draft pick. I thought he was going to be doing this every single night. I thought he was going to become one of the most dominant players in college. And then I don't know what happened, but he just completely went away. I don't know if Calipari was angry with him because he wasn't working hard. I had heard all of these rumors. I heard rumors that he wasn't practicing for like a couple weeks. So I guess maybe he was in Calipari's doghouse. Calipari probably was challenging him. And tonight he seemed like finally, he accepted the challenge because he played well tonight. 18 points, 6 rebounds. And if we can get somewhere close to that every night from Big Z, it's going to just make this team so much better because Big Z is such a versatile player. Like, he has so much ability. He can stretch the floor. He can play a little bit around the basket. Yes, I get it. He's not very physical. He's got to get a little bit stronger. He's got to mix it up a little bit more, but he still has so many natural gifts. He is a true stretch big man that can handle the ball a little bit, can dunk in traffic and different things like that. So we need Big Z to really wake up and get busy. Big Z and Edwards playing like this, along with, Rob Dillingham and Reed Sheppard and Reeves and Trey Mitchell. If we can get those guys, even the Dude Thero, if we could get those guys consistently all to bring something to the table each night, like, we are going to be in good shape and we will be able to contend with most teams that we play. It's just a matter of, are we going to be able to get it? Are these guys going to step up every single game? But overall, man, this was really an impressive victory. It ain't really too much bad to say about tonight. Like I said, when they put one of these together where they just dominate on both ends of the court, it's just kind of scary to think of what they can be like, what they can become in March. Because right now, it pretty much looks like UConn is one of the best, if not the best team, even though I think they got beat last week or maybe it was earlier this week. I can't remember, but they lost one recently. But still, overall, they look like probably the best team. Um, but everybody else is kind of mid range, middle of the pack. And I feel like Kentucky could, they could leap over some of these teams. Maybe not record wise. They might not be able to catch certain teams, but they could still probably end up being a better team than a lot of these teams that are ranked ahead of them if they can, put it together like this. They could give us multiple nights like this. We could be good. Refs started calling some ticky-tack fouls today. Yeah. A lot of the times we we've had some games this season where the refereeing or the officiating has been kind of inconsistent, and it just kind of goes back and forth. It's like sometimes they let the guys play physical, sometimes they kind of holding the players back a little bit, and they backing everybody off of each other. So it's just one of those things where I feel like probably the rest of the season for sure, this is what they're gonna have to deal with. 1 minute it could be a very physical game. The next minute, you might have to play a little bit less aggressive. So I feel like you're going to just have to learn how to adapt at any given time. You're going to have to adjust to what the style of the game is, what the flow is. So, it's a good test to see how teams can adjust, and how they can read the game and keep themselves out of foul trouble and play aggressive when it's necessary. So it'd be a good test for him. But I feel like it's been pretty consistent or pretty inconsistent all season with the referees. Alabama scored in the paint a lot early. I was worried, but we stepped up the defense. Yeah, Alabama actually, Alabama played bad tonight, but Alabama, they a solid team. They was ranked 13th, and they got some decent sized kids. So yeah, Alabama is still one of those teams that, if we ended up playing them in the SEC tournament, I would still not take Alabama lightly at all. At this point in the season, I'm not taking nobody lightly. I'm not looking past any game because Kentucky has showed me that they can beat the best teams in the country and they can lose to some teams that aren't necessarily great teams. So because Kentucky's been so inconsistent, I don't look past any team. Everybody is a serious game for this team because you just don't know what you're going to get. We've shown that we can lose at home this year, and we won a couple of tough road games. We lost some winnable home games, so it's just kind of at this point, I don't really know what team is going to show up. But if this team shows up, I'm confident that they can get it done against pretty much anybody. And hopefully they starting to realize it and they starting to figure it out. And like I said, it irks me kind of when Calipari makes those statements, those used car salesman statements. We're built for March and all of this stuff. But hopefully this team is built for March. So we'll see. How about Rob's shot at the end against LSU? I know we lost, but that was clutch. Yeah. Rob is one of those guys that Rob, like I said earlier in the year, or maybe I even said in the summertime, Rob is just one of those guys that he just can explode. And when he gets going, he kind of almost unstoppable on offense. Yeah, he still got a lot to learn. Sometimes he still got to make some better decisions here and there. But when he gets it going, he pretty much can get you a shot against anybody and get a quality shot. That's one thing we can't count on. Yeah, moving forward, he definitely got to work on his defense and things like that. But eventually, he's going to be a pretty solid offensive player. We all pretty much know that every time he steps on the court, he's going to give us his his 12 to 14 points a game. We can pretty much book it. Duke lost, but there's a bad note on that loss. I'm glad Duke lost to Wake Forest. Yeah, I I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Every time Duke loses, it's a joy to me because I don't have to hear a lot of their fans trolling me. Um, when we lost to LSU, we had the meltdown. A lot of the Duke fans came from my head, so I definitely was I was feeling really good after they lost, and then when I seen what Kentucky was doing to Alabama, I said it's gonna be a pretty good night for me because I'm about to let some of them Duke fans hear it. I'm about to give them some business all night long. Actually, this is why I continue to believe in this team. I do understand the frustration, but let's enjoy the team and embrace the process. Dominated the best offense in the country. Yeah, what they say? Alabama was averaging like what was it like 93 or 94 points a game, something like that. Um, and Kentucky was averaging like 89. So Kentucky was a good offense. I think they were the third ranked offense in the country. But Alabama definitely, they was getting buckets. So to see them, and I mean, look, Alabama still ended up scoring 95 points. So they still did what they did, but they just, it never really felt like they had a chance to actually win the game. And it just seemed like, you know, especially in the first half, because they only scored 42 in the first half, and Kentucky almost scored 60. It just seemed like, Alabama never really had a shot, even though technically they still did put up a really nice amount of points. But it's just Kentucky. Kentucky just went to another level offensively tonight, and I think they said. I think if I remember correctly, Kentucky had like 104 points with like 8 minutes left. So Kentucky was rolling. Kentucky was getting busy for sure. But if you look at it, we had Justin Edwards with 28, Reeves with 24. Then Thero gave us 12. Big Z 18, Rob 16, Shepard with another 8. So it was just actually when we get that many guys that's contributing, Kentucky is going to be hard to beat. 13 threes. Yeah. Let me see what they shot. Kentucky's 3-point percentage was 54%. That was 13 for 24. So and we know all year Kentucky's been one of the best 3-point shooting teams. So, when they get hot, they get real hot. Overall their whole entire shooting percentages was good all night. They shot 63% from the field. Like I just said, 54% from 3 and 84% from the free throw line. So, man, they just played really well. They had 28 total rebounds. It's pretty decent. 9 offensive rebounds. So they gave themselves, a couple of chances for some second chance points. But like I said, the main thing for me is I love to see them go over 20 assists a game. They had 24. And low turnovers, which 10. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see them lower than that, but 24 and 10 is they moving the ball and they getting everybody involved. So I was loving it. Reed gives you a stat sheet full points, steals, rebounds, and assists. Yeah, that's one of the main things I like about Reed is, he might not, like tonight he didn't score double digits, but he had more than 10 points worth of impact on the court. He's got great hands. He always getting his hands in there to bother somebody on defense. He's knocking the ball away from people. He's shooting in the passing lanes, getting steals. Then he's crashing the glass. He's giving assists out. Like, he just playing the whole total game, man. So Reed is just one of those guys. He's like a strong utility player, man. He's just going to always be doing something positive for the team. So, yeah, he don't always have to go for big offensive numbers, but he's going to have big impact no matter what. Big Z had too good of a first game. Z does not. He does not play great, or he does great in non-physical games. Yeah, that might be Big Z's weakness is that when stuff gets physical, he might shrink a little bit, but in games like this, he definitely gets busy. But I think he got to get used to it. And the same with Bradshaw, man. And I feel bad because Bradshaw is not really getting the minutes anymore. Like in the beginning when he first came back, he was getting a lot of opportunity, and now Onyenzo just playing better, and then with Big Z coming in and doing what he did today, it's just not going to leave much playing time for Bradshaw. But Bradshaw and Big Z's weakness is definitely physicality. But hopefully, they learning and they getting more used to it. They're getting better, and they can figure out how to play against that, because that so far that seems to be the biggest weakness of Kentucky this year is when they play physical teams. They get treated like they're soft. I ain't gonna say they soft because I know they got some tough-minded guys. They got some competitors on the team, but they definitely get pushed around and moved out the way like they are soft. But I feel like hopefully they can learn from those games and be more prepared when they play physical teams the rest of the season. Big Z has been sick. Yeah, that makes a little sense then. I knew something had to been wrong with Big Z because it just didn't make any sense because his minutes went down. His effort seemed to go down. So I didn't know what was going on with Big Z. But if he'd been sick, hopefully he's better now, and hopefully he'll be able to continue to give us this type of production for the rest of the season. Can't wait for Tennessee at Tennessee. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do now. Like I said, we gotta pretty much try to get every single game for the rest of the year if we can. I know that's asking a lot, and it probably won't happen. They might end up losing 10 games, but still, I can't wait to see what adjustments they make and if they play better against Tennessee the second time around. It's gonna be tough. It's always the road games are always gonna be tough. They have been all year for pretty much every college team. It just seems like a lot of teams have been getting busted when they travel this year. Like I said, unfortunately for us, we gave up a couple of games at home that we should have won. But I can't wait to see what they do against Tennessee the second time. Hopefully they pull it out and get the W, man, because I don't want to lose 2 times in 1 year to Tennessee for sure. If Thero and Edwards keep hitting threes, we bring it home number 9. I hope so. But like I said, I probably been the most impressed with Thero's development. Because Reeves pretty much doing what he was showing. Start at the end of the season last year, Reeves was starting to come into his own. He was starting to, put up the better numbers here and there. So I kind of figured Reeves is gonna average 20 plus or be able to consistently score 20 this year. So I'm not really as impressed with his development as I am Thero because I really didn't know what to expect. But Thero definitely, I appreciate that he worked hard and he worked his way into the starting lineup, and he's pretty much cemented himself as one of the best players on the team that has to be on the court. And I don't think that they can win a championship without Thero playing well, because Thero is he's sort of like Reed Sheppard to me when I say like a super utility player, because it's not that he's going to do one thing great every single night, but he might do a lot of different things, at a mid level, but overall impact the game a lot just by being all over the place, whether it be scoring points, whether it be blocking shots, playing defense, rebounding, steals, making some passes here and there. So, you know, big shouts out to Adu for his play. And Edwards, man, I just, like I said, I've been waiting all season. I know we all have been waiting all season for Edwards to put one together like this. And we was giving up. Most of us had given up on Edwards. I thought Edwards was gonna be one of those that I look back on him and say, because like I said, I think he's gonna eventually figure it out and be an okay professional. Um, may take 3 to 5 years, but I think eventually he's gonna be a solid pro. But he was gonna be one of those ones where we look back and be like, man, we didn't get anything out of him. That's what I was starting to feel like, and we might end up looking back at Bradshaw that way. Um, because I think he's kind of the same way. Like I think at some point Bradshaw, when he gets some weight on him and just gets more repetition under his belt, I think he's going to end up being a good professional. So, um, even though he's been sort of disappointing so far, but Edwards, it was really good to see him break out of it, man, and just have himself a ball game. And like I said, hopefully he just continues to grow and develop, and his confidence goes up, and he just able to give us that for the rest of the season. Because man, there's been if you look back in some of those games where we lost, and you just think like if we just had one more person that was giving us anything, like a few of those games we could have probably brought home. And he was, some of the ones that we lost earlier in the season when he was getting so many minutes, he could have been the difference maker. So hopefully, he's ready to turn up for the rest of the season. I stand with Cal and the Cats. Yeah. Like I said, Cal is one of those coaches that just, he makes those little comments, and the fans just, it irritates the fans. And I'm a big Cal supporter, but even sometimes it gets me. And with this team, I was starting to go the other way because I was just getting frustrated. Because I just was expecting him to be better. So when he make the comments about being built for March, that was super annoying to me. So I gotta give everybody credit. I gotta give the coaching staff, I gotta give the players, everybody credit for the way they bounced back, because they definitely should have won against LSU. They definitely shouldn't have lost the lead like that. But I'm glad that it didn't bring them down too far that they couldn't bounce back, because I was worried if they lost 2 in a row. Like I just thought it was gonna get so ugly that we wouldn't even be able to salvage it. And like I said, we still ain't safe yet. Like we still got a lot of work to do. We still got to win the rest of these games, because I don't know if it's even possible for us to get a good seed anymore, but we got to try to do the best we can. We got to try to take care of what we can take care of, and then just see how it plays out Selection Sunday. But let's see. Mississippi State on the road won't be easy. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm not taking no teams lightly anymore this season. I'm not looking past anybody. Everybody, I'm treating them the same way. Like they the number one team in the country, because we have to approach the games with that mentality, with that mindset. And I hope that's how the players are looking at it. Like I hope that they are hyper focused on each individual short term goal, which is one game at a time. So gotta just take it slowly and get our way, walk our way into March, and then try and make some noise in this tournament. We never know what we get from this team. It's always up and down. They never can be consistent because obviously they're young, right? Yeah, unfortunately that is the problem. Is just they so young, and when you depending on them, they still trying to figure the game out. It's probably still even difficult when Calipari is teaching them certain things, like when he's explaining stuff to them and teaching them different offense, and trying to explain the defense to them. And then they got to go out here and just try to learn it on the fly. They if they were more experienced players, the learning process, the learning curve would be a little lower, and they would probably process the information easier, and they probably be able to add more stuff to their game, and it would just be a lot more consistency. And the most consistent players this year have been, outside of like Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd, the most consistent players have been the older guys. It's been the Trey Mitchells. It's been the Antonio Reeves. It's been the Adu Theros. Even to a degree, Onyenso. They have been the guys that pretty much, what we're going to get every single time they step on the court. And it's just kind of hard with freshmen because you just, like I said, you don't really know what to expect from game to game. And DJ Wagner is a perfect example of that, because last couple of games, DJ really ain't had it going. But all throughout the season, he's had moments where he's looked really like a high quality player. I think he had a ridiculous game where he did big numbers. I think it was like 30 something. It might have been 38 if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a high 30s or something like that. So, he has these moments where he put one together and he looks ready to go, and then he'll have, a game like tonight where, and I mean, he had 4 assists, but he only gave us 4 points, and we just need more than that from DJ. But that's just a part of being young, I guess, and being inconsistent. But yeah, that's one of the bad things about Kentucky basketball is with Calipari always having young teams. It's like basically we need freshmen to develop into seniors in the short period of time that they here. We need them playing on a level that Reeves, that Trey Mitchell is playing on, even though, they've only had a few games under their belt. Because we just aren't afforded the time to wait for them to become good, to wait for them to become consistent. We need them to do it now, like immediately. So, that's the frustrating part about, Cal's process with Kentucky and his recruiting. Thero has been making some insane plays above the rim lately. Yeah, Thero definitely attacks the basket. Sometimes Thero attacks the basket, and he might need to take one more dribble to get a little closer. But yeah, he goes hard to the rim, man. He gonna try to go up and punch on anybody, left-handed, right-handed. It don't matter. Like when he gets going, he's trying to finish, and he's getting a lot better at it, actually. Earlier in the season, he got blocked a little bit. He was kind of I think he was taking off too far away from the rim, so that, when, the defenders was attacking him, he wasn't elevating as high. But now I think he's starting to figure it out a little bit better. But it's just the same with him. Like, even though he's one of our more experienced players, he still really doesn't have a whole lot of experience. So he's still growing too. But I think he's starting to figure it out. I think he's starting to get more comfortable. He's definitely more confident. So I definitely love the way he's playing, man. And like I said, I don't think they can win the championship without him playing at a high level. So once again, salute to Adu for sure. Which players do you think will be back next season? Oh man, this hurts me to say this, but I don't think most of them will be back. Let's see. Let's go through the list. I don't think Edwards will be back. I think he should come back, but I don't think he will be. Reeves, we know Reeves is going to be gone. Wagner's the same way. I don't think Wagner will be back, but I think Wagner should come back. Thero, I'm kind of up in the air with Thero. I'm not really sure. I honestly, if Thero didn't come alive in the middle of the season like this, I was expecting Thero to transfer, because I'm pretty sure he probably considered it last season, because he probably felt like he didn't really get a fair chance to really get on the court and get some minutes. So I was expecting him to transfer, and then if you remember, he took a long time before he actually announced it. So I was happy that he stayed. But I could see him potentially coming back another year because now he probably feels confident. Like if he does come back, he will definitely be starting, which I believe he's going to start for the rest of the time that he's at Kentucky, however long that may be, whether that be just this season or the next 2 seasons. I think he's pretty much solidified himself as he's going to be a starter. I think he's, as long as he keeps working hard, he keeps trying to improve, keeps, playing hard, I think he's going to be a starter. But I ain't for sure about him. Onyenso, I think Onyenso needs to come back. Hopefully he does. But he's kind of in that same boat to me as Thero, because obviously he did put his name in the transfer portal last year. And for some reason or another, he pulled it out, came to Kentucky. I'm glad that he came back because obviously we needed his shot blocking. Hopefully that he stays, but he probably is now starting to get more attention from, as far as the NBA stuff goes. He probably wouldn't get drafted in the first round, but that they probably ain't never stopped nobody from going. And then obviously I think Big Z is going to go. I think Dillingham's going to go. I'm pretty sure Reed Shepherd's going to go. Bradshaw's going to go. And I don't think any of them, even Dillingham, will start or contribute significantly to an NBA team next year. I think it's going to take them 2 to 4 years probably, and then I think they'll all be good ball players after that. But I don't think any of them are going to come back. But I would like all of them to, because I'm pretty sure if the majority of this team came back next year, I do think they could hang banner number 9 if they aren't able to get it this season. I'd be extremely confident in them if they came back, especially if they added a couple of the pieces, the commitments that they got. They added them to the team. I'd be pretty confident with what they could do. And Jordan Burks is another one that, to me, I feel like I hope that he stays at Kentucky. I'm pretty sure he won't put his name in the draft, but I'm just worried that he may decide to transfer somewhere else because he's the one this year that's kind of getting, the short end of the stick when it comes to playing time. He had a couple of games where he got, some decent amount of minutes. He had a game where he played really well, where he was one of the better players that night. But he just hasn't had enough opportunity to really get out there and develop on the court. He seems positive. He seems like he doesn't have he's not looking like one of these guys that's giving up, that's quitting on the team. He seems real positive, like he's really committed to Kentucky basketball right now. So hopefully he'll stay. I seen that Jaden was he was in the building, man, and I can't wait to see what he does next year. Plus we'll have Samto Cyril. So the good thing that I'm seeing with some of the guys that's coming in next year is that some of these dudes look physically developed. They might not be, as big and as strong as like college juniors and seniors, but they definitely look like a more developed class of freshmen than we've had in the last few years at Kentucky. So definitely, I can't wait to see what these guys can do. Shepherd and Perry would be fun to watch play together. 2 Kentucky boys, both great shooters. Yeah, I watched them play against each other in the Sweet 16 tournament last year. I love both of them. I think they both can hoop for real. And hopefully I might get to go watch Perry play in the Sweet 16 tournament this year, depending on what my work schedule is. But if I'm available, I'm gonna go check him out. But yeah, they were getting busy last year, and I'm pretty sure Perry's gonna be one of those guys that he gonna when he come in the game, he gonna be ready to let it fly, and he gonna be a shooter. It would be nice if he was on this team with the way these guys shoot the three. If he was standing over in the corner wide open, he would get he'd give you 6 to 8 points a game easy. I think just catching and shooting, because he's had some games in high school where he's exploded. I think one game he might have hit like 14 threes or something like that. He might have done that multiple times. I can't wait to see what he does. Hit the like button. Salute to you, man. Salute to you guys, though. I appreciate y'all. You know what it is. One big sports and discourse family. And I feel bad some of the nights when I don't get to stream after the game, because it be so late and I have to get up so early for work, and I just can't do it. But I try to get it in whenever I can. And like I said, always I want to try to expand the platform and try to figure out ways to help it grow. So, if you guys got any suggestions, feel free to shoot them my way. And eventually, like I said, once I figure out my work schedule and stuff like that, and especially in the summertime when things slow down, I might have to start inviting some of you guys on the show so we can just talk UK sports together. Because obviously, I enjoy rapping with you guys, but it would be nice to have some face-to-face time with some of y'all. So we definitely we got to get that in, man. But anyways, I guess we'll wrap it up right there, guys. Great bounce back victory against Alabama. We needed this one in the worst way. Go Big Blue as always, and hopefully they can expand on this, and we can close this season out the best way possible. Hopefully hanging another banner, man. But anyways, you guys feel free to keep commenting and let me know what you think, and we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.